Hello, divine beings. I hope you are having a great day today. So, today I really wanted to go live and talk a little bit about the frequencies of food because I feel like so many people are still not very aware of the frequencies in the food. Okay, and everything in our world is frequency. Okay, because frequencies are the amount of light and sound. Everything is light and sound or harmonics, okay, in our world. And so we have to start thinking of food as nourishing our body of light. Because if we want to live our heaven on earth, we have to activate the light, feed the light within our body. And hello, welcome. And so there's foods that are at a particular frequency, at the frequency of the light within our body that activates our light. Okay, because it's sort of like a radio station. I can best describe it like a radio station. Whenever you turn on the radio, there's different stations, right? So there's different frequencies. We call those frequencies because there's a rock station, there's a pop station, there's different music being played, and so the same goes for our food. Our food is playing different music. Okay, we may not be able to see the music or hear the music, but it's playing at a very, unconscious level. But we can see the vibrancy of the food, the colors of the food. Every food is going to have a particular amount of light in it, and so the more light or biophotons that are in the food, the higher the frequency. Okay, and so when you eat food that has a lot of light, biophotons in it, it feeds our light, it feeds our light body, it feeds our spirit. Okay, and we begin to activate more of our spirit body so we can be able to, to live at the frequency of heaven on earth. Because heaven on earth is a frequency. It's playing on a like a radio station, you can say, a harmony, a harmonic. And so when you tune your body to the frequency, to the radio station of heaven on earth, you can live heaven on earth. This photon light is something new. Okay. Yes, so photons are light particles from the sun, from the sunshine, okay? And we have, the spirit body in us is also made of light. And so when we feed it, we become, more activated to live in the harmony of heaven on earth, because heaven on earth, like I said, is playing like on a radio station. It's a frequency. So we have to tune our body to the frequency of heaven on earth. And the way we do that is by consuming foods that are playing the frequency of heaven, here on earth. But how do we know? Because, every food, if you eat like French fries are going to have a different frequency than organic raspberries. Okay, because organic raspberries have been activated with biophotons from the sunshine, sitting in the shrubs, And so the more light that we consume, the higher our frequency is. So what we want to do is start raising our frequency with our mind, having positive thoughts, positive words, positive actions, and eating, the foods that are at a very high frequency, that have a high content of biophotons and light, so that we are also at a high vibe, at a high frequency. Because, a lot of people, I realize most of our population is on antidepressants, they're on medications, and they're on all these, prescription drugs and such. And most people don't realize that it's the food. The food is making people depressed, because you're going out to a fast food restaurant and just like grabbing whatever food. The foods at fast food restaurants are not even fit for consumption, okay? Because they are devoid of light. There is no light in them, and this is make our bodies crystalline. Yes, exactly. So this is what we're talking about, is making our bodies, our DNA, more crystalline. And so we need to activate that DNA by consuming the foods that are going to activate our junk DNA. That's really just dormant DNA. The DNA requires light. The DNA requires light in order for it to be activated, so you can operate at your fullest divine potential, so that you can operate at your God self, the self that you were created to be, godlike on this earth. Okay? So we have to realize that the foods that we need to be consuming are the foods with the high vibe, high frequency, high biophoton levels, that have been, grabbing the photonic energy from the sun, because that's what's going to feed our DNA to be more crystalline, to activate with more light, to have a higher frequency, and it spins faster and faster. And so we become divine. This photon light getting into food is now so important. Absolutely, it's so important. This is why I speak so much about the foods and how important it is for you to consume organic superfoods. Superfoods are the best because they contain the highest amount of light. And what we need to start seeing food as our entry into heaven on earth, as our portal into our heaven on earth. And so when we start avoiding, the foods that are bad for us, that really just make people sick, and the reason why so many people are on prescription drugs are mostly the fast foods. The fast foods are just the worst because they have a very, very low frequency. The foods at fast foods are not at the frequency of the divine. They're going to be very, very low frequency. And so people eat them and they're operating at very, very low levels of light. They're devoid of light because these foods don't have any light in them. They're basically dead foods. And so we have a bunch of people walking around. They're like the Walking Dead. And so what we want to do is consume the foods. Absolutely. Thank you, Rich VIP 007. Thank you. So what I want to encourage you to do is for you to avoid those foods that lack light, that don't go near those foods that don't have any light in them. The foods that are highly processed and this really highly processed foods, and foods from the slaughterhouses, and from the fast foods that are basically just dead foods. They're dead foods. And so what the dead foods do is they start really regressing our evolution, because people consume the dead foods, and it actually deactivates more of our DNA, and it deactivates more of our potential. And in order for us to really be able to operate from a higher perspective, a higher frequency, a higher level of being, a higher level of living, you have to consume these organic superfoods that have a high level of light in them, because that is our portal into heaven on earth. Because heaven on earth, like I said, is playing a certain frequency. And when we match that frequency, and this is things that Albert Einstein talked about, frequency, and Tesla, Nikola Tesla, they all talked about these things, but we don't learn these things in school. But I learned it the hard way, because I've been there, I've done that. I was there when I used to consume the fast foods. There was no light in the fast foods. I got sick. I was always really sick, and I was barely even alive. Okay, and so in order for us to break out of that mediocrity, living in mediocrity, being sick all the time, and living a life that you're not happy with, we have to rise above that frequency and really start consuming the foods that are really our portal, into living the life that we are meant to live, our heaven on earth, to create this heaven on earth that people want to live. If you know about this, information, that at this time we have the opportunity to live in heaven on earth. You actually have the opportunity to buy heaven on earth with your food, with what you are consuming. And so I urge you to take this opportunity. If you're suffering, if you're in pain, if you're in misery, you have a way out, okay? Because God, Creator God, created this earth for us to live in paradise. It's really encoded into our DNA. Literally encoded into our DNA. But most people are ignoring, the potential that God placed in us by sabotaging it with fast foods and crappy foods and junk foods and all these things that are killing. They are killing your opportunity to live your heaven on earth at this time. And we really need to start paying more attention to what our bodies are consuming, what we're putting into our body. Okay, because like I said, you have the opportunity to buy heaven on earth at this time. Okay, and you don't want to miss this opportunity to live in heaven on earth instead of living in misery. You get to choose. You have free will. You can choose the foods that are going to make you miserable, or you can choose the foods that are going to give you your heaven on earth. That's completely up to you. I'm bringing you the information, the truth. This is the truth, because I have lived it, and this is what God is telling me to speak about. So this is what I'm speaking about, and I'm letting you know, that you have free will. You can choose to destroy yourself with fast foods, or you can choose to live your heaven on earth with the high vibe, high biophoton fruits and vegetables. Okay, the highest frequency foods that you can get your hands on. Okay, Thank you so much, Rich VIP 007. I appreciate you guys. And so I wanted to share some of the foods, superfoods that I consume, okay, because I consume these every day. I love these foods. Of course, I do organic coconut water. There's very few things that I buy at the grocery store, okay, very few. It's just water and coconut water pretty much. Okay, so this is the highest frequency coconut water that I can get, other than I can't climb palm trees here in Florida, or else I would climb I would climb the trees and get the coconuts from the palm trees, but I'm not that gifted. Whenever we activate our superpower to fly, I can fly up there, but they're too tall. And so, and of course the berries. The berries for me are my favorite. They are super powerful, lots of biophotons in the berries, in the light. And of course they have to be organic. They have to be organic. And I go for the rich, super rich colors, the reds, the purples. Oh yeah, I do acai too, acai bowls. The blueberries, sometimes I get blackberries also. Of course, organic bananas. I'll make like smoothies. I'll freeze these and make smoothies. They have to be organic. I have kiwis. I have dates. They're all organic. Kiwis. They're all, these are superfoods. They're really the highest content biophotons that, I can get my hands on, because that's what activates our light, our DNA, our crystalline DNA, and it activates our dormant DNA so that we can live our heaven on earth and then help others create their heaven on earth. And then, just goes from there. These are the most powerful superfoods I have found ever. This is dark berry protein. This has like tons of berries in it. It has pomegranate, raspberry, black currant, cranberry, strawberry, monk fruit, beetroot, tart cherry, blueberry, blackberry, acai, maki berry, lion's mane, ginkgo leaf, and then it has some enzymes in it. This is really amazing. So if you guys are interested in that, these are power shakes, and these have tons of greens in them. This is my green juice. I do biofruit that has like 20 different fruits in it also. It's amazing. So these are the foods that I consume because they have the highest. These are the super foods, because these are going to have tons of nutrition and tons of light. Okay, and so once you get to a certain frequency, a certain level of light, a certain frequency, you start consuming more and more light. You want to eat, you consume the food for the light content, really, because your DNA wants to activate more of its junk DNA. That's not junk, it's actually just dormant DNA. So we want to activate more of the DNA. And so this one has like, the biofruit has like 20 different fruits in it also. And yeah, so those are the superfoods that I consume, because like I said, it's all about the light content. Okay, it's the light content in the food that is our portal into our heaven on earth, because everything we consume has a particular frequency. Everything has a particular amount of light in it. Okay, and food that is dead, that comes from the that you buy at the fast food places, that's not going to feed your DNA. That's not going to feed your dormant DNA. It actually starts to deactivate more of your DNA, and it also just drains your energy. It drains your superpowers because it takes so much light and energy for your body to be able to digest it. And so that just drains your power pretty much. Okay. So yes, definitely the antioxidants, the antioxidants, they help cleanse our DNA and help repair our DNA. And, these foods that have so many biophotons that are organic and have all this light in them, they're practically vibrating at the love frequency, the love of our Creator. It's practically vibrating at the love of the Creator. That's the frequency of love, the 528 hertz. And so that's the frequency that you're going to match. You match the frequency of the food that you consume. Okay? So definitely we need to end fast food because, like I said, people eating this dead, horrible, processed junk is creating more junk DNA, literally. It's deactivating more of the DNA. And so it's basically self-destruction. And these superfoods, they activate more of our DNA because there's light in them. They're alive. They're alive with the light, the love, the harmony of our Creator, because they have biophotons. And biophotons come from the sun, from the earth, from the rain, from the water, and that's more of what we need to feed our body to activate our DNA at a much higher frequency so that we can activate and turn on, activate more of our DNA that's been lying dormant for generations. Okay, because for generations, our ancestors, my grandparents, my great-grandparents, they were all operating at a particular frequency. But now, with all the resources that we have and the knowledge and, the internet and everything, we are growing exponentially. And so this is our time and our opportunity to set up this heaven on earth that we have the opportunity to establish at this time. And so this is why I want to spread this knowledge as much as possible for people to know that you have the choice. You can choose the fast foods, but you're going to deactivate more of your DNA. And you will be operating at a very, very low level, a very low percentage of your potential, your divine potential. Okay? Or you can choose the high frequency divine, biophoton foods that are activating more of our DNA with the light, the biophotons. Okay? You have a choice. I am just here to give you the information, but ultimately it's your choice. And of course, the opportunity is really in the superfoods, because the superfoods are going to be vibrating at a much, much, much higher level because they're super concentrated. So there's a lot more content of biophotons and a lot more light in them, and they're all organic and they're super powerful. And this is the information that you are going to need in order for you to make an informed decision, because people have been in the dark for so long. This matrix system of control and power that the cabal has has established on this planet, it's going to end. It's time for it to end, because it's time for the people to know the truth. It's time for the people to make informed decisions from the truth, to fully know what exactly you are doing, because there's so much that has been going on in the dark that's been hidden, and now it's coming out into the light. Okay, and people need to know the truth so you can make an informed decision. Am I going to destroy myself today, or am I going to choose my heaven on earth today? What food is going to give you your heaven on earth? And what food is going to destroy you? Okay, so people need to know these things, and this is why I am taking the opportunity, to give you this information. It's so important at this time. People that want this information need access to this information. And so this is why I'm here to tell you, you have the opportunity to choose your heaven on earth by choosing the foods that are going to give you that reality. Because everything that we eat, everything that we consume has a particular frequency, and it's going to give us a particular reality. Okay, because we live in a world of multiple realities, multiple parallel realities happening all at once. And this is something else that they don't speak about. This is real science. It's science. Everything I'm speaking is about frequencies and science and parallel universes, parallel realities, everything. This is all the truth. This is how our world operates. But these people have kept us in the dark for so long that it's time. It's time for us to know the truth and to make informed decisions so that we can end the pain and the suffering on this planet. Okay, because the people of our planet are operating at a very, very low frequency, very, very low frequency, percentage of their potential that has been actually placed in them. Okay, so in order for us to be able to operate at a higher frequency, at a higher potential that we have been given, then we have to, consume the foods that have a much higher frequency than what we've been currently operating at. Because the food, your body is going to match the frequency of the food that you consume. And that's the truth. Okay? Your body will match the frequency of your food. Okay? So whenever you consume foods that come, that have the frequency of our Creator, we are also going to vibrate. We are going to match the frequency of our Creator, our God self. Okay? So these highly processed foods at the supermarkets, the highly processed foods at the fast foods, they unfortunately are operating at the level of demons. Okay, so this is what they've done, is they've basically established a planet of very low vibe people. But it's time for it to end. It's time, for people to know the truth, that most people have been operating at a very low level of their potential because they've been consuming the wrong foods. Okay? You cannot get a 5D life by consuming 3D foods. Okay? 3D is just like the basic of the basic. There's foods for angels and then there's foods for demons. Okay? So if you want to live your heaven on earth, to create heaven on earth, we have to eat, from the frequency of God, from the frequency of our Creator, from the highest frequency biophoton foods that we can get our hands on. Okay, so that's the truth. Makes perfect sense. Thank you. Yes, absolutely. Thank you. And so, yes, so this is what I wanted to speak about today. And I thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate you watching. And if you have any questions, let me know and I will answer them. If you want to order these superfoods, also let me know. I will send you a link for a $50 gift card. And I hope you have an awesome day and eat lots of superfoods. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.